So, have you ever built a really fantastic front end project, a super slick UI or a cool dashboard, only to have it just sit there collecting digital dust in a folder? If that sounds familiar, you are in exactly the right place. In this explainer, we're going to break down how you can take that code and actually turn it into cash.
Yeah, seriously. If you've got a project you're genuinely proud of, but you have no idea what to do with it, you are sitting on a potential asset. It's time to stop thinking of it as just another project and start seeing it for what it truly is, a product.
Okay, this first part is probably the single most important step. It's all about a mindset shift. You've already put in the hard work of building something that's clean and functional. Now, it's all about framing it as a solution to someone else's problem. And this right here, this gets to the absolute heart of it. Your customer isn't buying lines of React or HTML. No way. They are buying back weeks, maybe even months of development time. They're buying design clarity. They're buying a massive head start on their own project. And that is incredibly valuable.
You know, it's such a common trap for us developers to think we need some huge, complex, full-stack application before we have something worth selling. But the reality? A polished front-end template with great components is exactly what a ton of people are looking for. They've already got their back-end idea, they just need a professional-looking UI to plug into.
So who are these buyers exactly? Well, think about it. You've got startups that need to whip up a prototype like yesterday to show investors. You've got indie founders who are wizards at back-end logic but can't design to save their life. Even creative agencies buy templates to speed up their client work. Trust me, there is a huge, hungry market for this stuff. All right, so hopefully you're on board now. Your code has real value. The next logical question is, where in the world do you actually sell it? Let's take a look at some of the top digital marketplaces out there right now. And you've got some really solid options. If you've built a mobile UI, Sell My App is a total no-brainer. For a React or Next.js template, you can't beat the massive traffic you'll get from CodeCanyon. And hey, if you're just starting out, Codester is fantastic because they actively promote new authors, which gives you a much better shot at being seen. And if you want to sell the whole shebang, code, domain, everything, Flippa is the go-to place for that. Now hold on. Before you get all excited and rush off to upload your files, we gotta talk about prep work. A little bit of preparation can be the difference between making a sale and hearing crickets. Getting your product ready is absolutely crucial. It really all just boils down to making it dead simple for the buyer. Clear documentation means they can start using it right away. A clean repo shows you're a professional and that their purchase is secure. And visuals. Visuals are everything. A live preview link is non-negotiable. It lets buyers see exactly what they're getting. And offering support can justify a higher price and help you build a great reputation. And all that prep work, this is why you do it. Depending on how complex and polished your app is, you can reasonably price it anywhere in this range. A simple UI kit might go for $20, but a full-blown SaaS dashboard template, that could easily fetch several $100s. Okay, so your product is looking sharp, it's listed on a marketplace, job done, right? Well, not quite. Just listing your app is not enough. You have to actively drive people to your listing. Yeah, this whole post and pray method, it just doesn't work. You can't just upload your code and hope sales magically start rolling in. The most successful sellers out there are also great marketers. You've got to be proactive and show people what you've built. So where do you do that? Here are a few places that pack a serious punch. A quick screen recording of your app in action is gold for social media like YouTube or TikTok. Sharing your live demo in relevant Reddit communities like our side project can drive instant traffic. And using the right hashtags on LinkedIn gets your product right in front of the founders and agencies who are looking for it. So, you want to really stand out in what can be a crowded marketplace and maybe charge those higher prices? You're going to need a competitive edge. Let's dive into a few pro tips for 2025.
This is how you go from good to great. Use AI tools to help write your descriptions and docs. It's a huge time saver and can be super effective. Including a mock API in your demo is brilliant because it shows a buyer exactly how easy it is to plug in their own data. And bundling, that's a classic for a reason. Creating a dark mode or different dashboard layouts as a premium add-on is a fantastic way to boost your revenue.
All right, let's bring it all together. We've covered the mindset, the marketplaces, the prep work, and the promotion. Now, it all comes down to taking action. So what's the big takeaway here? That code just sitting on your hard drive? It's so much more than a past project. It's a tool, it's a time saver, and it just might be the starting point for someone else's big dream. So the only question left is, what are you going to build to sell next?